This is Boxing Talk A576 coming at you. I want to talk about I want to talk about the other side of boxing. I know we always talk about the glorious side of boxing, you know, the making the money and all that, and the good things that come with boxing. You know, the winning the titles and being one of the greatest of all times and all that. But it's another side of boxing. It's the other side of the coin. You know, it's the tail side of the coin. It's the coin to where boxers that finish their careers, how they are forgotten. Some struggle with the brutality that came with the sport. Guys on the other end of the spectrum who didn't come out of the other side of boxing, you know, the way they went in, which I don't think anyone does, because you take a lot of punishment and you take a lot of brutality, and you know, you give a lot of your heart and soul. I was just, you know, wondering why. I'm gonna talk from not a fan perspective. I'm gonna talk about from a human aspect of boxing, and that's, you know, fighters get in there and put everything on the line. They risk everything. They put their hearts and soul on the table. They come out of it, you know, with either detached retinas or hematomas, bleeding of the brain. You know, signs of Parkinson's, like Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier. You know, he had reportedly bleeding on the brain. You know, a lot of fighters, Major Taylor, when he fought Chavez, he was never the same after that fight. You know, he was urinating pure blood. We have cases of Gerald McCullough. He had a fight, and that fight, I don't know if it was that one fight. It could have been a combination of other fights, but that was the fight that, you know, people are known, that people have seen on national TV, that he was not the same. Now he has to be fed and taken care of by his family. Roy Jones gives money to Gerald McCullough, and, you know, help him out with his ordeal. Maybe other fighters do as well, but it's fighters that, you know, don't get taken care of. It's fighters that, you know, man, Joe Frazier, for all the money he made, he was sleeping in his old gym. You know, he didn't have this mansion in this glorious house, you know, with a lot of cars and stuff like that. See, people don't realize that when the front part of your brain is damaged to boxing, that you don't have the capacity to think like a normal human being. I mean, you know, you're just going through the motions. And I believe, well, it comes from, I'm not going to say fighters end up broke just off of just boxing alone. You know, it's partial, not, you know, coming from a strenuous background, you know, poor. A lot of fighters come from, you know, the streets. A lot of fighters come from nothing. So when you get a lot of money, you don't know how to invest money, you don't know how to take care of your money. And the other part is, you know, just taking a lot of blows to the head. You don't think correctly. You don't have the capacity to make good decisions, good sound decisions, like a normal functioning human being has the capacity to do. And a lot of these fighters are relying on their family, and during their careers, they rely on their trainers. They're relying on, you know, the promoters. And one thing about boxing is a nasty sport, man. It's a sport where nothing is guaranteed. Fighters train. You don't punch the clock to train. You know, fighters train on their own will and determination, just to be, you know, to be something, to make something of themselves. Some want to make a lot of money. Some want to be champion. You know what I'm saying? Some just have to do it because they have to do it, because they had to put food on the table. You know, for most fighters, when boxing first came out, a a lot of fighters, I'm gonna say black fighters, Italians, when they came over here from being immigrants, they did it to put food on the table. They fought 3, 4, 5, 6 times, sometimes a week, to put food on the table, and that was their only means of income. A lot of them didn't have education. A lot of blacks back then in the 20s and 30s and 40s didn't have a lot of education, didn't have a lot of means to have a great education. So a lot of them fought in the ring and had to fight a lot to put money and food on the table. But getting back to my point, a lot of these fighters end up with nothing. They start with nothing and they end up with nothing. Due to bad financial handling by their probably managers, because boxing is a scumbag sport, man. It's like it has no governing, really no governing body looking over it. They don't have a commissioner that's really looking over boxing like they do baseball, football, tennis, and all that. And a lot of those sports have pension plans, which boxing don't have a pension plan. Boxing don't have no pension plan for these fighters when they get done. A lot of these fighters can't walk, can't chew, can't think. A lot of them suffer from dementia early in their life, in their 40s and their 50s. Signs of Parkinson's, like Muhammad Ali. And a lot of these fighters fight long past where they should be fighting. I know as a fan, me as well, I'm guilty of it, asking a lot of the fighters. I ask a lot of the fighters as a fan because I want to see the brutality, the sport, at its purest. I want to see things happen like, a way that I don't know. I just want to see fighters test themselves to the limit. But the fighters, when they test themselves to the limit, is another side of the coin. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, most notably, Floyd Mayweather. I want to see Floyd Mayweather, test himself to the limit. I want to see him against different opponents. And when I don't see that as a fan, I feel like me as a fan, I'm not getting all what I need as being a fan out of Floyd Mayweather. But me as a human being, speaking from the other side of the coin, I'd much rather see guys like Mayweather, Pacquiao, Cotto, all these fighters that already reached the pinnacle, won titles, got a lot of money. I want to see these guys retire before they get to a point to where they damage their livelihood. Boxing is one thing, but damaging their livelihood, because you get into the sport to reach the pinnacle. Some get to reach the pinnacle of boxing, as far as money, championships, and things like that. And a lot of fighters are fortunate to. Some fighters are fortunate, very fortunate, to reach the pinnacle without a lot of damage to their bodies. And I think Floyd Mayweather he's at the top of the list. Him and Bernard Hopkins, they have reached the pinnacle. I would much rather see them retire than try to squeeze more out of them. Him, Pacquiao, you see what happened to Sergio Martinez. He was, he had multiple knee surgeries and he wanted to continue fighting. I'm pretty sure he wanted money, but I'm pretty sure he wanted glory. When you start fighting, it's this macho thing within your heart that you want to just keep going on. You want to keep trying to prove people wrong. You want to keep, and it's addictive. It's addictive too, because being in that ring is nothing like being in the ring for a lot of these fighters. You're not going to get the rush doing anything else. That's why a lot of fighters go to drugs, because they don't get that same rush they get when the crowd cheering, when they walking down that lane and they get in the ring and they feel like they're on top of the world. You heard what Mike Tyson say. He feels nervous and scared when he's walking down towards the ring, but by the time he get in the ring, he feels like a god. He's not going to get that nowhere else. That's why a lot of them turn to drugs, because drugs give you that high. Nothing else will give them that high, and that's why they keep coming back. That's why the Sugar Ray Leonards keep coming back. That's why Muhammad Ali believes he can do it. He can do it. He can overcome obstacles and overcome odds. That's why Archie Moore fights long past, you know, what he should fight. You know, some fighters do hang it up and walk away from the sport untarnished, and, you know, on time. You know, Joe Calzaghe, you know, he walked away from the sport on top. You know, a lot of fighters don't walk away from the sport on top. I would rather Floyd Mayweather walk away from the sport right now. He's on top of the sport. He's on top of the boxing, you know, boxing world. Me as a, I'm gonna speak for me, not as a fan. Me as a fan want to see him fight more fights and fight bigger challenges. But me as the other side of the coin, and knowing what these fighters and seeing, you know, different fighter stories of what they go through by staying in the ring too long. Yes, people will probably look at me and say, no, he hasn't stayed in the boxing ring too long. But you got to think about all the sparring, all the training, the wear and tear on your body. You actually take more hits in sparring than you're going to take most likely in the fight, because you're going to have rounds and rounds and rounds of sparring leading up to the fight. You have an 8-week training camp. You know, a lot of fighters spar 3 times a week. So that's rounds on top of rounds on top of rounds. You're going to go more rounds in sparring than you go in actual boxing matches. You say, oh, you got headgear on. But the headgear really don't do a whole lot for you like people think. What the headgear gives you a false sense of security. So guys figure, I don't have to move my head as much because I got headgear on. If I get caught with, you know, punches in sparring, it's not that bad because I got headgear on. But headgear really don't it doesn't mask a lot of the punches you're going to take. Actually, sparring without headgear gives you a better sense of moving your head. I think fighters will move their head better in the ring if they move their head better in sparring, because you actually practice it. And if you don't have headgear on, you're more conscious of